Hello, everybody. Hope everybody had a good week. Make sure everybody comes in. It was a great day today. Sunny day here in the USA. No snow, finally. That's what I like. We're going to go over season 8, episode 15 today. We have Judy on the phone. Hello, Judy.
Hello, John. Hi, everybody. Glad to be here.
Yep, Judy's on her cell phone, so you might get a little echo. We're having a little phone difficulties. If it's not discernible for you guys to hear, please let us know in the chat, and we'll go from there. Okay, Judy?
Yeah, you're breaking up quite a bit,
All right.
John, on me.
All right. Mine's will just not do it then. I guess we got too many difficulties.
Okay, so you want me to hang up?
Yeah, hang up. Nothing we can do.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Good night, everybody.
No problem, Judy. No problem.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. Yep. Jenny said it was rainy and foggy. Yeah, my pain's all in my hips now. We'll get it stretched out. Thank you for your concern. I want to thank all my Facebook group members. As usual, I want to thank all my YouTube members. I also want to thank my YouTube paid membership members, Michelle, Annette, Elizabeth, Jazdia, Wayne, Starlene, and our Templar Commander, and a winner of a Quest of Oak Island membership mug, Renee Tunnel. Your mug went out today. Congratulations for being the most active person for the last 28 days in my group. I thank you so much for you guys and your support. Judy's having all kinds of telephone problems up there in Canada. So I'll just have to read her synopsis because I don't think it's going to come back any better. Let me press a couple of buttons here. And we'll go from there. So what did you guys think of this past Tuesday's episode? As people start piling in. Yeah, the stone paved way and what I call the foundation has been driving me crazy. The pieces of coal have been driving me crazy. The road they put in on the side of the swamp for electricity is in the 1930s is awful close to the paved area. And we'll go over those situations. And yeah, Judy's phone was breaking up real bad. She couldn't hear me over the telephone, but she'll come back stronger. Just have to have a service call on that stuff. Like me, all these technical things, I have no idea what I'm doing. Yep, Diane watched it twice. But yeah, Tuesday night was pretty good. Now, if we put the dates together, we tied the dates together, we should be fine. Giving us an idea of what was going on there. Especially if they date that piece of coal. Then people are calling it charcoal, which is different than coal out of the earth. Charcoal is the burnt charcoal, obviously. We understand all that. They're not going to edit out every word and everything. But I just want to put these dates into your guys' mind, and maybe we can figure something out. Hello, everybody on the YouTube side. We got the dates between 1700 and 1830 for the patent plate. Now, can you guys hear me okay? Am I nice and clear? Number one, is my audio coming through? Yup, Jenny, it looked like the 30s pick had the road pointing west, but the one they found points east. Yes, okay, Judy, thank you. Yeah, but we got to remember that road they put in the 1930s. Thank you, Dennis. All the artifacts that are being found could be left by that construction. So you know what I'm saying. Thank you, everybody. I hear you. Thank you, David. Thank you, Starling. I never know when my audio goes in and out. Only you guys can tell me. I thank you so much, Cindy. So we'll go through some dates here that I just jotted down. Hi, Anthony. How are you? From 1700 to 1830, they found a patent plate at Sam Ball Lot. At C9, a nail at the money pit was 1700s or before. OC1, the boot and heel, was dated 1492 to 1662. In OC1, a rotator spike was early 1700s. The swamp spoils, a copper coin, was late 1600s and early 1700s. The spike at the so-called Serpent Mound, and the same as the money pit, was in the 1700s. Lot 15, British ox shoes, or that pathway, was British. Carmen said the pathway we used between 1650 and 1750, and said that eye bolt was dated 1640 or earlier. Lot 32, they find 3 very old axe heads. And some kind of core sample that Dr. Spooner did on the West Hill was man-made and could be more than 300 years old. We haven't heard any more on that. Lot 13, Gary finds an iron door lock. Victorian, maybe? I have no idea. The pine tar kill was on lot 15. You guys follow me so far? Hi, Curtis. How are you? Now, the burnt charcoal at the so-called Serpent Mound, or Old Spoils, that's called the charcoal was burnt, was between 1320 and 1440. The Chinese cash coin also was dated 400 BC / 900 AD. That fits nothing. Lot 13, where Corian and Chris told them to dig, the 3 ox shoes in the keg are in the 1700s. Hi, Ray D. How are you, YouTube side? Down at the money pit at 170 feet, we have a solution channel. The keg top at the bottom of the swamp was dated by Carmen of 1400 and 1720. The kegs need to be chemically tested if they can in a wet environment. You know, did they hold grain? Did they hold flour? I know they do that in Egypt, but that's a dried area. But I don't know if it's been in a wet condition. They can extract chemicals what's out of a barrel. I don't know how Carmen would know one barrel is wheat and one barrel is flour or one barrel is dry goods. He says how the barrel is made. It's not watertight. So it could be dry goods. We still got to hear about the plumb bob thing. We still got to hear about Tony's metal detector and the hits in the bay. We know Halifax was settled by the British in 1749. We know Charles Morris surveyed the island and made all 4-acre lots in 1762 to 1765. The eye of the swamp, Dr. Spooner says in 1680. He says the swamp was man-made in 1220. And in 1720, they built the Luxembourg Fort was constructed. Hi, Tom. How are you? Tom Burns. So all these dates, we have to find out what the heck was going on in the early 1700s and 1720. We know they were building the fort at Lukenberg, and all that manpower doing that fort in 1720. They had to use the island for something. And why just pick Oak Island of all the islands? Because it was shaded out in the back. Could have been a supply depot, could have been a ship repair facility, but why pick Oak Island? Why would all the depositors pick Oak Island? Why would the military pick Oak Island? This is what we got to find out. Yup, Carlene, we can't wait for the date for the testing to come back on the coal and the barrels. Yeah. Hi, Phyllis. How are you? Hi, Carlene from Florida. Hi, Michael from the YouTube side. So you know what I'm saying? I'm getting all these dates together. So I'm figuring who was there early 1700s? If they're building a huge fort in Luxembourg in 1720, it has to be those people. I mean, the British didn't settle up there until 1750. But then if you go back to the Templars, the 1300s, 1320, the only thing we got that is the swamp was dated 1220. The coconut fiber was like in the 1100s. What else do we have for Templar? You know what I'm saying? Scott, I'm not sure what that was blocking. I don't know if that was a big boulder that they broke the teeth off or what it was. Yes, Cindy, Frog Island was used for its lumber. Easily defendable, Starlene says. You know, why pick Oak Island? It could have been just a supply place. You know how you have your main area and you use the island just for supplies, repairs, maybe a little like a secret, not a secret base, but just a base for the ships to go and then move on from there to the destination. But then if that swamp was dug out as a deep harbor, how do you figure that out if the water was 5 or 6 feet shallower at the time? We know they have a wharf, a 90-foot wharf that goes out past Smith's Cove. But if the water's down 6 foot at that time, in that time period, they would be nowhere near the swamp. They'd be farther out to the bay. And how long would it take them to construct? They call them roads. I call them a foundation or a dam, the way the stones are all thrown in there. I don't know how an ox would even walk over that, even if it was filled with dirt. I have no idea, but it doesn't look like no road to me. Hi, Gwen from Australia. Scott, I like the fort idea even more and more. Some kind of outpost. And Anthony says could have been a staging area for the British military. Yeah. And plus a deposit spot. You know, why pick Oak Island with all these dates? And then you find wood dated 1706 in OC1. What is wood dated 1706 doing 140 feet down in the money pit? Could that wood have come off a ship when they were rebuilding ships and they were digging for tunnels and they just used an old timber? I have no idea. It's like me building something at my house in 2021, but using old lumber. Does it mean the old lumber means I built it this year? No. The date of the wood's going to be a lot older than what I constructed. Hi, Levon. How are you? Hi, Nancy. It's unbelievable. So I had to put them dates together. You know, once we get the answers on this coal, they can know where the coal came from. They can date the coal, but that's not saying in trading how this coal came about. And I'm going to read some great statements from you members that when I post some of these questions up on our chat on our Quest of Oak Island Facebook page, they were fantastic. I thank you for your answers. All right, here's Judy's synopsis, and I'll be printing it out and showing you in chat on our group page later on. Yep, Cindy, it's like the whole island was cleaned of artifacts. It's unbelievable. Okay, Judy, here we go. I don't do it as good as you, but we tried it a couple of times on the telephone. It didn't work, so here we go. Drilling down. That was on Tuesday night. Gave us a short history of Oak Island. Hi, Jessica. And the show and the searches. It also tells how the show has affected the communities close by. It has boosted business and brought local people together to support the Fellowship of the Dig. It was well worth watching. Enjoy. Season 8, Episode 15. Another new day on Oak Island, and Rick, Gary, and the team are in the southeast corner of the swamp, studying the stone pathway that could very well be heading to the money pit. Gary's beeper goes off, and Rick digs up another square ox shoe nail. As they find more of these nails, they're becoming more convinced that the pathway was used to haul something to the uplands. Billy continues to dig to uncover more of the pathway. They have to follow it to see where it goes. At the money pit area, Steve, Terry, Charles, and Scott are drilling hole C5, west of where they've been drilling. They are following a new grid map drawn up by Steve. They are 20 feet from where they were digging last week and 5 feet from C1, where they saw the 3 gold objects. Steve says we're taking a shot at the money pit. Back at the swamp, Liz and Aaron dig on the pathway. Liz find more coal. Was coal transported here? Is this road connected to the pine tar kill on lot 15? The coal can tell them the age of the pathway and who built it and where it came from. Keep digging, team. On lot 10, Marty and Gary are metal detecting around Cone E at the bottom of Nolan's Cross. The beeper goes off and they dig up another ox nail, then 2 more a few feet apart. Marty wonders why are so many here. Were oxen used to pull the boulders into Nolan's Cross? I guess we'll find out. The next morning, Rick and Charles arrive at the hole C5 and are shown a wooded timber found at 77.5 feet deep. They are close to shaft 6, where a piece of a keg was found in 1861 after it collapsed. Have they found the debris field from shaft 6? If so, they are in the area of the money pit. The hose on the drilling rig blows, so they're done for today. That afternoon, Ian, Gary, and Billy are searching more on the pathway, and they hit a layer of peat, and Rick picks up a half of a keg top, and a few minutes later, Greg picks up another one of different size. Are they related to the one found in the money pit area? Doug and Scott take the keg tops to Carmen's shop, where he appraises them as old as from 1400 to 1720. Could they be related to the leather heel from 1492 to 1720? Carmen says these barrels were used for dry goods such as flour, and with testing of the team, could find out what was in them. Doug says the ox could have had gold. Later that afternoon in the money pit area, they continue to drill hole C5. They find the dirt is less dense, so this must be man-made. Was it dug by searchers or depositors? At 118 feet, they find the same thing, so decided to move on to the next. The show ends in the war room, where Dr. Spooner is reporting on the coal found in the swamp. He says this coal is the most significant find in the swamp, as it has the potential to tell us the age of the pathway and who built it. The coal has low sulfur content, so probably came from Europe or Britain. It will take months to get results. Big surprise, months. So many questions this week, guys. I'm trusting the answers will come and hope you are too. Let's move forward and keep looking. Judy says, have a good week, everyone, and stay safe, please. I thank you so much, Judy. Another fantastic synopsis. I thank you so much. Hi, Don Bretz. How are you? Hello, Lisa. Have they got any news on the tunnels under Sam Ball's house? Nope, we haven't heard anything on that. Tom Burns. I think the British connection in Oak Island and Lukenberg was in general based on information passed down by Freemasons between each other. Some British officers in the 1700s would likely have Freemasons and known the earlier structures were there and know how to navigate Oak Island. I agree. Thank you, Judy. It's not the same without you. It's not the same. But, yep, this call will give us some answers and give us more dates. And don't forget about the cribbing underneath the paved area or foundation area or a levee or a dam, whatever all these rocks are. That cribbing wood will also give us a date. Even though Carmen said that I bolt was 1640 and below, I'm just not going by that. I'm just not going by that. And also we had some questions and answers about Sam Ball. If he had like 20 acres of cabbages, how did he get them off the island? Well, the stone road or foundation is dated way before Sam Ball. So he didn't use the roads. I'm thinking he hauled it off to Smith's Cove, where ships picked up the cabbage because there was no causeway, obviously, when he was there. So as far as Sam Ball getting all his cabbage off the island to sell, obviously the swamp has nothing to do and roads and foundation with him. I just want to put that out there. And then Joshua Duke had a good thing here. Let me read what Joshua said. Yup, David, we're going to miss her voice. Yep. Joshua Duke says the paved road has a very simple explanation. Let's say, for argument's sake, most of what they think and have said in the past is accurate. There is an old map that shows where the swamp currently is, a marsh, just to the south of that area labeled Lagoon. I believe there was a ship, possibly internationally, run aground in the marsh. It has been theorized that the paved area close to the eye of the swamp would have been used as a work or staging area to offload the ship. If all that is somewhat accurate, the best logical explanation for the road, it was used to carry the spoils or dirt from the tunneling and digging from, well, everywhere, to create the earthen coffin dam that is now the southern border of the swamp. And Jenny, how reliable do you think Carmen is? He seems good to me. He seems good to me. Hello, Chris Dona. That's a lot of cabbage to make that amount of money. Yep, they use the sauerkraut for scurvy. But if he found a small portion of the treasure somewhere, we have no idea. That's what we're trying to find out. And Don Brett says golden cabbage. Yeah. Yep. Hi, Jez Dia. Thanks for coming in. Don Heskes talks about pyrite being mined on the island. Yup, fool's gold. Hello, Ken. How are you? Hi, Scott. Any news on the Mercury? You know what? When I show you the pictures, I got a picture I got to show you guys. that they're finally digging in the eye of the swamp. Lisa, yes, he did. I believe Sam Ball did find some. I believe he was one of the three searchers with McGinnis and Vaughn and whatever they found 30 foot deep, three treasure chests at 30 feet. That was his money. Yup, Tom, I think so. Also, I think the tunnel in Ball's cellar was for drainage. The cellar was used for cold storage to keep ice cold and things cold. Yeah, you got to keep the cabbage fresh. You got to put it in the cellar. I mean, it gets hot there in the summer, spring and summer, and you need that spring and summer to grow the cabbage. Otherwise, Oak Island looks pretty cold to me during the winter, in the bad seasons, in the storms they get. So I believe it was a storage area. I believe it so. All right, let's put some pictures up. You ready, guys? Hold on. Let me go through my pictures here. Hope you guys are having a good night. Maybe you're having a glass of wine or having a beer or a mixed drink with some popcorn. I don't know what you do on a Saturday night, but we'll start out with this picture first of the swamp. Okay, Scott. Here's a picture of the swamp when they were putting in electricity, and you see the telephone poles going towards the north. Thank you, John. I'm back. So, whatever they're digging now, we have to put in consideration whatever they're finding, any kind of artifacts they're finding on that side is and could be from the 1930s. Do you see it, guys? Yep. So there's the bottom corner of the swamp. There's the road with the telephone poles in it. Even though the small pathway is below, I think it still has a line that it hits this other road they made for the telephone poles. All right, we'll go through these pictures here. There's a comparison shot. It's a little blurry, but the best I can do, of the road on the bottom and where they're digging now. Very, very close. Very, very close. And here's where the tractor is. That back side is where that road is. You see what I'm saying? Where that excavator is, where Billy's digging, that back side is where the telephone pole road was. Chris says, so this makes me think the swamp today is really formed by the road along the beach. Sort of, Chris. Obviously, a long time ago, there was no road there. but yet the water was down 6 foot. The sea level was down 6 foot. But you see where I'm saying where that excavator is up on top picture? That's where that 1930s road went in with the telephone poles. And I don't know if the wires came across the causeway. I was looking for telephone poles across the causeway, but the causeway, they didn't do it till 1966. So I don't know how the wires came over from the mainland. I have no idea where that is. I was looking for it, but I couldn't find no pictures. So you see that, guys? That comparison? Now look at this picture here, guys, that I found. This is an exclusive. You know where Billy's digging right there? Could be an underwater cable, yeah. This is an exclusive here. When I was going through the latest pictures, you know where Billy's digging right there? You know what that spot is? Mercy Point. They're finally digging out Mercy's Point. Because below is Fred's house. Below is Fred's house on the bottom. And that's way at the head of the swamp. I'll pop out and I'll show you. Now you see the bottom of that picture where Fred Nolan's house was? That's the area of Mercy Point. And Scott said, yes, but it's all on top of about 8 foot, it looks. Yep. The eye of the swamp is a lot lower, Chris. That's where the spring fed area is. Billy's almost to the end. Is it not? Or do I have that wrong? And Jenny, don't you think that's where the Mercy Point is? The eye of the swamp is way lower where the spring fed input is. That's almost 50 foot before the road there. Now you guys are getting me confused. Mercy Point is down by the causeway that Fred built. Okay. I must have my directions screwed up here. I'll have to look into that to make sure. Yeah, Tom, I thought behind, you see that pool of water? That's where the eye is. Where he is headed toward the, I thought it was Mercy's Point. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's not the eye. The eye is where that pool of water is, where it's spring fed. But I could be wrong. So I thought that was interesting. Let me see here. We'll go on to the next picture. And we did that one. Then we had another member posted this in Scotland. Looks awful familiar. They use it as a road or a pathway. You up, Michael? They use it for a pathway. And then there were some pictures they showed on C1. The 3 gold things embedded into the wall. We know we all went through that. And David Clore from YouTube says, I'm beginning to think the eye is part of the flood tunnels. Could be. And Jenny Googled it, and that looks to be about the right area for the Mercy Point. Jenny, thank you. I thought I was losing my mind there for a second. I was pretty sure. It was way too high for the spring-fed eye of the swamp. And here's Marty and Gary metal detecting around Cone E, the bottom boulder of the cross. Yup, David, steady supply from that spring in the swamp, the eye of the swamp, I hear you. They were digging out a lot of ox shoe nails. I have no idea why. Hi, Pam. It's the pain's all on my hips, but I'm tolerating it okay so far. Thank you for your concern, Pam. Scott, the spring is spring fed. That's not the salty part. There's more ox nails from the shoes around Boulder Cone E. We're hanging in there, Pam. Thank you for your concern. Just going over some things that happened Tuesday night. They're digging out them ox shoe nails. Let me see here. Making me do all this technical stuff. All right, Chris, let me see if I got to download it. I got to get it to Be Live. I got to cut and paste it. Oh my God, what am I doing? All right, hold on here. All right, there's the picture that Chris Donna just showed. Billy's digging way up. He's not near that eye. Let me get the picture now. Where is it? Hold on, folks. Now, where is Billy now? Hi, Mary. How are you, Mary? They said the Iron Cross. Iron Cross. Thank you, Scott. Chris, I thought it would help with the visual. Yeah. You see where the eye is? Billy's nowhere near that. I'm going by that parking lot, Fred's parking lot there, the circle, and he's even farther up than where it says Billy's digging. He's even farther than that spot, which is the Mercy Point. What do you think, guys? Hi, Ogden. Thanks for coming in on the YouTube side. Thank you. Yep, anything's possible over here. I'm going crazy here. Have they tested the stone pathway to date the stones if they're cribbing on it? Not yet, Anthony. We haven't heard a word on that or the plumb bob or anything yet. But I just want to make sure that we're talking about the Mercy Point here. Hi, Buster. What's going on? So I think it's the Mercy Point, not the Eye of the Swamp. The Eye of the Swamp in that tractor picture is behind the excavator where that pool of water is. And he's way above that. You see it? Yep, Don. Don't you think it's the Mercy Point, Don? Let me pop out of here and put the pictures together. I can't talk once I pop myself out, but you guys look at these two pictures and then I'll pop back on. Okay, I'm back. What are we talking about now? Jenny, the spot Billy is at looked like it's in line with the cross, so it can't be the Mercy Point. If that red circle is where he is digging, it can't be Mercy. I'm saying he's not in that red circle. I'm saying he's way above that red circle. Not unless Chris pointed my photograph with that excavator to scale on the cross, Chris. I'm not sure. Where you have Billy digging, did you superimpose my excavator photo onto that? No, they didn't move off the stone path. I just found a picture where Billy was digging, Kevin. And it looked like it was way farther up and go from there. And Chris says, yeah, he is digging along the cross. Okay, thank you, Chris. No problem, Jenny. No problem. So he is digging on the cross line. Very good to know. But I have no idea. I'm getting more confused by the second. It just looks like he's higher. Chris, even though you plotted it right there on the cross line, in my surveying eye, it seems like he's a lot farther up towards the road, because that cross line goes across the top of the parking lot. And he's about, yeah, I would say, okay, yeah, all right, I can see it. We're at a different angle. Yup, Cindy. Yup, Scott. I don't know, Michael. That was a great resource spot that Doug had there. It was fantastic. All righty. All righty. Now we finding coal. We're finding coal on the swamp. Who knows, Don? I don't know. They get so many theories and so many X's. I don't know where they're going. I'm getting more confused by the minute. Then I just found this picture of the Romans, how they used to make the roads and everything. Yep, the surveyor checked in the swamp. It was like 2 foot, almost the same sea level. And Mary, I don't know if the coal is related to the blue clay. I have no idea. But that road that they made, or whatever it is, I call it a foundation. It even could be a dam, just throwing all the boulders there, and in between had a harbor to fix ships. I have no idea, but they knew it was there prior to 1795. In 1795, they knew the stone paved area was there since then, and now we're looking into it. This is next week. I took a little screenshot. People say it's maybe one of those little rubber change purses. But don't forget now, I'm telling you guys, that road they built in 1930, this stuff can be from the 1930s, or it could be from, if Dr. Spooner said 1220. It's a pretty good ratio of dates there, you know what I mean? But I just want to point that out, that things could be found when they put them telephone poles in the 1930s. People working on there, people doing their thing there, drop stuff. Yep, Mary. I don't know how long it would have taken him to put that road or foundation in, how many man hours. Unbelievable. There's that big chunk of coal. They're going to get dated. They said they have found pounds of coal. The one piece in the Serpent Mound was charcoal that was dated. What did I say? 1320 to 1440. A small piece of charcoal found at the so-called Serpent Mound, or now that we know is an old spoils mound, I guess. And there's some dates on the charcoal Dr. Spooner put up in the war room. Yep, David. Oak Island is more than confusing to me. It's driving me nuts. Then it could be European gold fields with less moisture. But the United States was like a big coal manufacturer. So who knows? They got to put the foreign element in there until we get it tested, until we see it where it comes from. We can speculate all day long where the heck this stuff came from, how it got there, sort of blah, blah, blah. But at least this is something, this is a subject, and this is a thing we can get dated and tested. And even he said for pollen spores, to what part of the world it came from. I hope they can do all that. And the ox shoes, British ox shoes, Carmen said. And now we're going into this map, Gordon Fader and Joy Steele. I've seen this map many years ago, and it had a blacksmith building on it. Supposedly Fred Nolan mowed it down and threw it in the swamp. Yep, Tom. So here's a map showing it's called Smitty's Building. You see that square? I'll get a better picture. We got pine tar kilns. We got blacksmith shops, buildings. We got Smith's Cove, wharf. We got blue clay. There's where I got it pointed out, the blacksmith shop. But I could not find for the life of me any documentation stating this shop. Only this map. Only this map was shown. And I looked for days. Yep, Diane, they got more secrets than we know of. They're not going to tell us. We only get what the show shows us or what they find. But this blacksmith shop, it's like a repair. If you have all these oxens and wagons and pine tar kilns and ships, and it just seems like a big repair station to move on to other areas. Now, if they had the fort going on 1720, maybe they used the island for one purpose of a supply and repair station, and including depositors for treasure, and then searchers with maps. You know what I mean, guys? But I couldn't find nothing on this on the blacksmith shop. We had another member that I was conversing with, and let me see if I can find it. We got Terry DeVayo, who has been on the show. I'm pretty sure. Yep. And he says, interesting show tonight regarding finding the barrel tops and coal associated with the stone road in the eastern corner of the swamp. You have to wonder, though, why would people bring coal to Oak Island? All indications are that there was plenty of wood to burn there without importing coal. Maybe by the late 1800s, so much of the island had been cleared of trees, but even then, surely firewood from the mainland would be the far cheaper alternative, which I agree. Not just any coal either, but high-grade, low-sulfur, bituminous coal. The only reason that comes to mind is that for the purpose of operating a forge, wood or even charcoal cannot produce a heat intense enough to effectively and efficiently operate a forge. If you have the ability to use coal in a forge, it is always worth the trouble to do so. If a forge was operated on Oak Island, this would be a matter of historic record. They were not that common. I have never heard of one being there in recorded history. It would make much more sense to have it on the mainland, as customers for a forge generally came from quite a large catchment area. So it would make no sense at all if it's in the historical period on the island. The only thing that makes sense to me is that the forge was being operated on Oak Island using coal because it was before the nearby mainland had been settled. So we are going back well before the known history of the British occupation, which begins roughly 1750. He also says, let me see here. I love this. And when I asked him about the mining building, he said, I didn't know that there is documentation that Fred Nolan bulldozed an old blacksmith shop on Oak Island. Do you know where this is documented? I don't recall coming across that before, a blacksmith shop. That's what I meant when I talked about the coal being used in a forge. If there is historical documentation of the forge or blacksmith shop on Oak Island post 1750, I would love to find out about it. And that's when I sent him that map showing that building. And he replied, if that notation on the map is what you mean by historical documentation of the smithies, sorry, that's not the case. Historical documentation will be something like being mentioned in someone's letters or their writings or their tax records or their deeds, anything like that. Fred making a note on a map that he found stuff in the ground that made him think that a smithy had been there some time ago does not count as a historical record. I'm not saying it wasn't a smithy or it doesn't count as evidence of an old smithy. I'm saying that it's not clear that what Fred found was the remains of a historical smithy. Without any other documentation, it's possible that the remains he found predate the historical period on Oak Island, which begins circa 1750. I love that. You guys like that? I love his explanation. What the heck were they forging there? Where are we here? Lillian, they could get lots of coal from Cape Breton. We were the first to have it for the French for Luxembourg. Just a thought. Very good. Mary. But Oak Island's a good place for ships, tucked away near the Gulf Stream. Mary. I'm a week behind you, old. I quit cable, which is saving me money. But Mary Ellen, we got a lot of spoilers here, so it's unbelievable. But I love what Terry brought to the table about this smithy or this building on this map. Again, like Steve says, what maps he has seen. If Fred Nolan put it down, they looked at it and they checked it out. Smitty Scott, they're talking about a smitty as a blacksmith shop. On the map, they called it a smitty, but it's called a blacksmith building. That's why they call it Smitty, not Smith's Cove. All righty. And then Michael says, maybe coal was used to build a hotter furnace for metal making or nails or ox shoes or ammunitions or arms. Maybe reforging gold to silver from Spanish spoils to sterling. Yeah, it's all crazy. It's all crazy. Example. The solving of Oak Island mystery will be solved with an investigation of the connection between the Masons and the Templars and former President Roosevelt, who was a Mason. Yup, we got to get some of these things answered. It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. All righty. I'm going to put the phone number up here. Anybody wants to call in and talk to me. Making ammunition. Could have been just a big supply. Island. Because the money pit doesn't anything about the Templars. The dates don't match. You up, Don? No, Scott. But It could have been whatever, but the dates don't match the Templars. Like I said, there's only a couple of things that match the Templars. Is the cross, the coconut fiber, the swamp being man-made in 1220. Otherwise, I see nothing else tying the Templars or the Masons to a treasure deposit. And then we got the vault. Well, who put the vault there, where it is, I have no idea. Yep, Pam, they would need a small shed-like building for repairs, but I think they use the whole island there. And it's very small to fix their ships and waterproof them and repair them. And then when the tide went out, off they went, like a shipyard. But then why pick Oak Island? Why? And why so many depositors? Why? Why? The Iron Cross was dated. The skeleton remains of who? The bones were European. They were in the 1600s or 1620s. The Templars were in the 1300s, 1200s. Yep, Mary, a great safe harbor for ships. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. All the military used Oak Island. It was convenient. It suited their purpose, and so on. As far as depositing big treasures from pirates and Templars, that's yet to be found out. Yep, Mary Ellen, it's driving me crazy. 8 years of this is driving me crazy. We're finding surface finds. We'll see what we find at Sam Ball's lot. We'll see what we find at the McGinnis Foundation. But for this island, for so many people to be attributed to this island, it seems awful clean of artifacts. Yep, Renee, that's Oak Island. Yeah, they had to have all kinds of people on the ships coming in. Repairman, somebody that did leather, somebody that did sewing, something that did the cooking. How do you feed all these guys? Where did they all sleep? They all didn't stay on the ship. Good stopping point, like Jeff Irving says, before they went over the ocean. Just a ton of history, Buster. Just a ton of history. And Carly says it was sad when they didn't find the 90-foot stone. Yeah. The stone they did find was found in the book building. That was the stone that the guy saw in 1909. Same description, same weight, same letters on it. So that was the stone that was shown in the bookstore. But the actual 90-foot stone with the letters on it, face down, I have no idea even if that existed. It could have been a ploy just to have investors. You can show the investors, well, 40 feet down, there's 2 million pounds, $2 million buried, or 2 million pounds buried. Please give me your money to continue the research. What else did they have to go by? The stone disappeared. Yep. Yep. I got my phone up there. If anybody wants to give a call. No Michelle tonight. I didn't see Tammy here tonight. I don't know if they're in the house to help out, but what else you guys got to say? Anything on Tuesday night show? Or any other questions? We got all the dates there. You know, in the Luxembourg, it's 1720. Had to be a ton of people up there. And what is it, like 80 miles away from Oak Island? When they were building that fort? Okay, Judy. But to build that big fort up there in Luxembourg in 1720. That's the only earliest date I know of when there was a ton of people around in that area. Yep, Carmen Lake is amazing. His knowledge is, yep. Stu, I thought the stone was found by the investors. No, it wasn't. It was not found, Stu. Have they addressed getting below the bedrock or even plan to? I don't know what this drilling program is now. I think, Steve, they might hit bedrock and then come up. I don't know if they're going below bedrock. Not sure on that. Tom, it's only 14 miles from Oak Island by land. No, there's no graves on the island, Scott, that we know of. But you know what I mean, Tom Burns? All these people to build that fort up there. You're telling me they didn't say, hey, there's a little island 10 to 15 miles south of us that we can use for a point. And don't forget, when they took over that fort years later, they didn't find no gold, no silver, no nothing. They found nothing of value there. And Mary, I think they're zoning in on the money pit. Yep. For about the 500th time. Closer and closer. Here where I thought the big dig was going to solve all our problems. I mean, we got to wait. We give them a little benefit of the doubt this year because of COVID and the late start. But they're honing it in since they found that map. And maybe the smaller the circle, the smaller of the bigger dig. Instead of digging a 100-foot circle, maybe they'd only have to dig maybe a 30-foot. Maybe they can get a caisson specially built by Vanessa. I don't know if they have machinery that's that big. You know what I mean? Have a special caisson if they hold it in to cut costs down, to get a special caisson with a special machine made in Germany or wherever the heck they make them, to do like a 30-foot round caisson and just drop a can right in the new area. What do you think? Jenny, I think they said it was 400 years old. Long ago. Yup, Kevin, they're all digging in the wrong spot, they said. They're going to the west. Yeah, I thought the cross was dated 400 years old when Lori did an evaluation on it. Yup, Tom. Just a spot to do repairs, get off the mainland, have a supply spot full of pine tar, blue clay, waterproofing, fixing, etc., etc. Anthony, have a good night. Be safe. Thanks for stopping in. You're always welcome. Yup, Aaron said the money pit was a booby trap. And Dan Blankenship says the money pit was an elaborate scheme right there. Diversion. So I don't know. I have no idea. Missed it by that much. Yeah, for 8 years. You know how many holes, Tom, they put in the money pit? Steve said just by him being there is 400. Plus 2,000 holes before that. Plus 50 shafts. Yet, nothing. You're welcome, Anthony. Have a good one. Yes, Darlene, on the YouTube side. What do you think? Get a custom can from Vanessa once they hone it in so they don't have to spend $25 million on a hole 100-foot wide and 200-foot deep and then be done with it. Then they'll say, well, we dug in the wrong spot again. So I don't know which way they're going. And Don Brent says the money pit was a vent and an exit. Yep. Well, Tony Sampson told me when he was on here that he thinks that what he said that it was a vent and they came out of the money pit. They put a layer of dirt in, and they put a layer of oak logs in, and got out that way. Dumped more dirt on the layer of oak logs, put another layer of oak logs to climb out, and so forth until they got out. I don't know. Yup, Mary. Yup. Well, what baffles me is the wood in the money pit in OC1 was dated 1706. But like I'm saying, when you cut down a tree or maybe use a piece of wood from an old ship or something, doesn't mean that wood was the date of the tunnel. Just like me, like I told you before, I'm building a house, I use an old tree. Somebody comes up, even though I built it in 2021, they aged the wood or 400 years ago. No, I built it in 2021. I used old wood. Yep, Tom. Yep. Also, history of tunnels from the seashore. Yep, Tony's looking at that. We had a lot of metal hits in the bay. We got to find out about that too. Yep. Michael on the YouTube site to hide the secrets of the alchemy and more knowledge that could be used for war rather than unity. Yeah. Yep. It's just getting to the point. We need some answers here. Yeah, Annette, I'm more interested now in the date number one. The date of the cribbing underneath the paved area or foundation that I'm calling it, or a dam full of rocks that you just throw, have just a pile of rocks and dam it up because it was a marsh there since a man-made since 1220. The cribbing underneath those pavers was to hold up the rocks so they wouldn't sink in the mud, and that was known from 1795. So it's going to go way back. Get the dates on the cribbing of the wood. Now we have coal. Get the date of this coal. Get a place of where it originated. Even though with trading back and forth and everything going on with the ships coming in and out, we had a ton of coconut fiber, 2 foot thick on the Smith's Cove side. But what did it tell us? Did it give us any answers? We knew about coconut fiber a million years. But did it give us any answers? Whatever treasure, no. They have found trinkets and artifacts from people that have been on the island, lived on the island, dropped things out of their pocket on the island. Jewels and trinkets are surface finds, and ox shoes and axe heads and things like that are for people that have been on the island. You saw the timeline at the end of the season. But what did the oak coconut fiber bring us but then just a date of 1120, 1200, 1300 years old? Did it bring us anything? Right, the oak fiber, coconut fiber from the Caribbean, but I don't want to hear that. Barb, do you think they're finding coal in the swamp? Yep. No, Barb, to burn the ship? No. No. Yup, Starlene, I want to know how old the wood is underneath the rocks in the mud. Because if that comes back, say, 1850 or something, then that throws everything out of screw. You know what I mean, Starlene? Michael, were the dates of the 2 bone samples from Europe and the Middle East dated back to the 17th century? I think early 1600s, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up for you. Yeah, Tom, I'll give us some closure on the swamp. Here's the coal, here's the dates. Dr. Spooner says man-made 1220, but the coal dates say 1550. Well, how can that be then? Yup, Starlene, the coconut fiber gave us nothing, but what the folklore was is they used it as a filtering system so the dirt and everything wouldn't come down to the drain pits, to the flood tunnels, to go into the money pit for the booby trap tunnels. As far as treasure, location, yeah, from the Caribbean, yep. But after that, the coconut fiber does nothing for me. They find it here, they find it there, but it doesn't give me no answers. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Thanks for coming in. Yeah. So this coal was an important part. I was hoping they would find maybe coal before this because they drained the swamp, what, about 5 times, even though they dug around. But now that they're digging more, and also going to put a cofferdam into the swamp, maybe to look for a tunnel. I have no idea. That's coming in season 9. If it's going to still be on TV, which we don't know. You know what I mean? So, as far as what they found for the 8 years are giving us clues of what people have been there. What dates of wood when it was built? No. The wood could be a lot older when you build these structures. So it didn't give us that. But it gave us some kind of dates to put in order and what type of people were there from the artifacts of the trinket or the jewels or the rest of the stuff. They showed the axe heads, the sledgehammers, the pickaxes, the axes. I mean, that's all normal stuff, like when you're building a house on the island. Like the McGinnis house was huge on the island. You would have that stuff in your tool shed. Farmers have all kinds of things: poles, fencing, digging utensils, axes, shovels. Anything else they find to show us, yes, there is a treasure there, except for maps. I have seen nothing. Mary, artifacts says people were pre-searcher and lots of activity. Yeah, I have found nothing in 8 years that they could say, yep, look at this piece. This is from a depositor. I mean, they show that wood in the money pit at 1706. That's got my head spinning. But what have they showed us and said, this is from a depositor? I can't think of one. Can you guys think of one? Go ahead. Print it out. Yup, Starlene, we got to find out where the coal came from, just like the bones, the European bones they found in H8. You know, what are they doing down 160 feet down in the dirt? And Scott, yeah, if I had a bunch of land and I had 20 acres of cabbage, when I cleared all that lot, I'd use the wood for firewood. I used the wood to build my house. I used the wood to make my wagons. I would use the swamp as a big dump. Anything I had, I'd throw in there. Where are you going to put it? Throw it in the ocean? Like a fill spot. Right. But there is no old skeleton remains. I don't know where you're going with that. We haven't heard anything about the lock, the plumb bob. There's a lot of things we haven't heard about yet. I want to hear about Gary's Tony Sampson's metal detection hits in the bay. And then Gary says on the side, "Hey, we found pirate treasure." Whatever all that means, I have no idea. Well, yup, Kevin. And I think Ball was with McGinnis and Vaughn when they found 3 treasure chests, or 3, they spread it out 3 ways, 30 foot below in the money pit. It was a shallow treasure find. So says a theory. So says Joan McGinnis. Tom Burns. My opinion, deposit activity originates in Smith's Cove and moves to the swamp from there by the way of the uplands. Swamp activity we see now is from a different area. Yeah. Everybody came in from Smith's Cove. Before the causeway. That was the entry point. Tom Burns, you're right on the button. You're the best. But that's what we're concerned about. And then Smith's Cove, they found nothing. They found the cross. Okay, they found the cross. But that whole 5,500 square feet and then another 5,000 bump out square feet, and they had a wash plant to find any kind of minute artifacts. They found, one big bone that could have been an ox bone. We found what, guys? What did we find from the whole excavation of Smith's Cove? Except for the cross and some wooden spikes, what did we find? A piece of slag. What else is there? The structures were always there and known. We had to get the wood dated. As far as people artifacts, we found nothing. Nobody dropped anything. And with that much activity, there has to be a few foundations showing how the workers lived on the island during the tunneling. They were there a long time, so it has to be more to be found. They're not finding anything. They had to have barracks to eat and sleep. I got something in my group that somebody said they had barracks on the island, sleep and eat on the island. But don't forget, all these searchers maybe found things, earlier searchers, and somebody's got them in their house. Who the heck knows? Yup, busted. Nobody wanted to stay on the island, but when they did all this tunnel digging, why would you bury something 225 feet in the ground with no back door? It's something, if it's there, it's something to be not found. It's something that is buried so deep. And all this craziness is not for nothing. Either there's absolutely nothing there, and this is a big hoax, or there's the biggest treasure in the world on Oak Island. There has to be either there's something there of such great importance that will change history. Not saying, Christopher Columbus, we know America was found earlier than that. You know what I'm saying? It's what earlier than that. So we know we had people over to Oak Island way before 1492. That's a thing. That's not a doubt in my mind. Nope, we're not giving up on any kind of Templar treasure or pirate treasure or many treasures on the island. I'm saying either they're going to find the greatest thing to change history or zero. You see what I'm saying here? Or evidence that the depositors did use it to deposit valuable artifacts, and then moved off of Oak Island and made the New World. Like they went to Washington, D.C. and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? They had to feed and cook all these people. Yeah. It's just unbelievable. All right. Well, that's my spiel. I'm going to take the phone number off. And I want to thank everybody for coming in on the Facebook group, my Quest Facebook group. We still need help on the YouTube side. Please help me there and subscribe. You only got 1,260 subscribers out of 72,000 members. It's free to hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Our Quest quiz questions and trivia for the whole world will only be done on YouTube channel because I want my Quest of Oak Island channel being strictly for the Oak Island fans and members. I can't wait to see if the lost gold of World War II comes on. I don't know if they can get back in the Philippines. I was very interested in the lost gold of World War II. It was great. They got to dig like a 960-foot tunnel to the crates that they found. Thank you, Chris, for your information. I got to get somebody online, maybe do a little guest co-host, maybe. And I love the show. It's a family show. I love everything they're bringing to us. I love you guys, you members. You make the group go. Without you, this group is nothing. Your interaction's fantastic. You guys are the best. So I'm saying the next night we get all together will be a game night. I'll be here Tuesday, pre-show, 7:30 this coming Tuesday on a pre-show. And I want to thank everybody. I want to thank my paid members. Renee, congratulations on winning the Quest of Oak Island mug. They're not for sale right now. Only the cast members and people that are very active in my group get them for free. I do have merchandise coming. Shirts, hats, wool hats, caps. I don't know if anybody's interested in having my face and the logo from a Facebook group. It's not a show, but if you want to support me and have a t-shirt or a hat with my face on it, let me know. I got it as merchandise, and that should be coming in a week or two. PM me if you're interested. The paid side on YouTube, if you are a Quest Templar Commander, you will get 30% off whatever the prices are going to be on these items. You will get 30% off if you join my paid YouTube member site, which is for special people. I know it's not for everybody, but it's for the special people that support me and my channel. It does cost money to run things like this here, equipment, streaming services, getting things ready and such, all cost money. And I thank you all for your support. Alrighty. Don't forget, always go forward. You may get a setback, but always go forward in your life. Don't let anything hold you back. No matter how old you are, you have a dream, no matter what age, go for it. If you can do it, go for it. Be mentally strong in these rough times. But if you can't, there's help out there for you. Get help. You'll feel a lot better for it. I thank you so much. Be safe out there. I'll see you Tuesday on the pre-show, 7 o'clock, 7:30. And we'll go from there. The next show we'll have in between. After that, we'll maybe have a game show, a trivia show, once I get everybody organized to be there. Okay. I thank you so much. Good night, everybody, and be safe.